Hey everyone, and welcome back into the heart of enterprise architecture. Um, Enterprise architecture is moving past the high level definitions, and today I think we're going to go into the nuts and bolts of how EA actually works. So if you are studying to write a test or just to get some understanding of how you can make your organization more efficient. With these questions, they will be very useful. I will break down the 5 key chapters that will be covering unit 5 to unit 6 to unit 10. Yes. So please, we'll look at the EA processes, the IT initiatives, and the core artifacts, the CLSV load, and the standards. Okay, so let's start with the fundamental mindset. So what we're going to do is, the first question I think that we want to cover is basically describe the process-oriented view of an enterprise architecture practice. Illustrate this view by explaining the key activities, inputs, and outcomes associated with strategic planning process. Okay, so they are saying we need to explain the key activities, inputs, and outcomes associated with strategic planning activities. And the key things to remember is that when you're answering this question, you need to remember that you're explaining it from the process-oriented view and strategic planning process. Okay, so what we're saying is that an EA practice is seen as a set of continuous ongoing processes. So it's very important that EA, we understand that it's not a once-off activity, but rather it's an ongoing set of continuous processes. It's not just a bunch of collection of documents. So that the understanding that the business strategy, defining the state, creating the long-term roadmaps, understanding where the business is and where you want to go are the main key activities around EA enterprise practice. And the inputs, we're looking at things that you need to have, the business strategy, the market research, the current state, the facts, and these are the landscapes. And then the outcomes would be the visions and the considerations and the new identified initiatives that you need to implement moving forward. So we need to really look at the fundamental mindset change from a process-oriented view. The classic view saw EA as a huge pile of documents, like we've mentioned earlier, or in the past we were thinking about blueprints, policies, but really modern oriented view says no. EA is a set of continuous ongoing process that manage the evolution of the enterprise. I'm really trying to re-emphasize this point. It's about action and not the documents. That's another thing that you need to remember. The first and most crucial process that we've discussed, that I've just highlighted, is the strategic planning. So strategic planning, what is it? So strategic planning is where EA translates the business goals into IT action. Okay, it has 3 main stages. So you need to know that strategic planning, there are 3 main stages involved. Key activity, where you're understanding business strategy and why we are trying to achieve what we're trying to achieve maybe next year. And then input, we take the business strategy, combine it with market research, and then feed in the current state facts, our landscapes, that's the current IT inventory. And then the outcome, the result is updated vision, okay, the new considerations. These are our updated guiding principles, and the list of identified IT initiatives need to move us forward. Very important. So I think that's the first review of this question. And as we go through, pardon me if there'll be some background noise from the baby. I'm recording this video from the house. Yeah, so the next question says the 3 core EA process, which is strategic planning, initiative delivery, and technology optimization, are said to form a continuous cycle of feedback and influence. Explain how this cycle works by providing a concrete example of feedback from initiative delivery, impactive strategic planning. Okay, so the 3 core EA process, strategic planning, initiative delivery, and technology optimizations, do not run in isolation. They form a continuous cycle of feedback. Okay, so this cycle is key to continuous improvement. Strategic planning sets the direction. Okay, so you need to know that strategic planning sets the direction, and the initiative delivery executes the project. Okay, so that's something that you need to take note. So strategic planning sets the direction of where we want to go, and initiative delivery executes the project, and then technology optimization maintains the existing assets. Okay, yeah, so this is what I was trying to draw here. We're saying that strategic planning sets the direction, and I wanted to put an arrow here, and then from initiative delivery there is execution of projects, and then technology optimizations maintain the assets. So these are the stages, the cycle that we need to go through. Actually, for us to better understand this, we can actually draw it into we can draw we can put up a process so that it looks like more of a cycle. Yes, so I think the cycle would look something like this. Okay, so we're saying here, we're saying the strategic planning. I think you guys will understand this better when we do this. Initiative delivery, and then finally we have technology optimization. Okay. Yes, so we can now really look at this. This is the cycle that I think we're trying to summarize here. How do you make this smaller? Well, let me just yeah. So the cycle is strategic planning, initiative delivery, and really technology optimization. So this is the cycle that I'm trying to just emphasize. So I hope you guys, we should be able to remember this in the test. Pretty straightforward. Apologies, it took a bit of time to really draw, but yeah, that's what we have here. All right. So an example is during initiative delivery project, to build a new application is delayed repeatedly because the existing database, which is managed by technology optimizations, can't handle the load. This delivery failure feedback forces strategic planning to create a new long-term vision and the fundamental initiative to replace the old database, showing how the execution problems force changes to the future plans. Okay, so now for a concrete example that we've given, what we're saying is that this delivery failure, the execution problem is feedback. Yeah. So I think based on that, we can move to the next question, where we're being asked to elaborate the specific activities of an EA architect typically performed within the technology optimization process. What is the overall goal of these activities? So we are saying what are the roles or what are the activities of the enterprise architect, what do they do? What are some of the activities that they're involved in? So we can closely look at the third core process, which is technology optimization. Its overarching goal is simple, to ensure that the IT state is efficient, cost-effective, and healthy by maximizing value and reducing technical debt. So that's the main goal of technology optimization, okay? To ensure that the IT state is efficient, effective, and healthy by maximizing the value of IT assets and reducing technical debt. So the enterprise architect performs three main tasks, and here they are. So what we are saying is that number one, maintaining the inventory, the IT inventory landscapes. This means keeping an accurate, up-to-date minute record of all systems, their purpose and their cost. You can't manage what you don't know, okay? You cannot manage what you don't know. So keeping an accurate record of all systems and costs. This is like keeping an inventory of all items. And that's where it's very fundamental that you need to know what you have within the organization. Each organization must have an IT inventory. It's very important because you cannot manage what you don't know. That's just how it goes. And then the second activity, apart from managing the inventory, the enterprise architect is involved in technology rationalization. This is the process of identifying systems that are redundant. Okay, we have 3 apps doing the same thing. Other apps could be they are too old, or maybe they are high cost maintenance, and the goal is to retire these systems. So the architect is really involved in rationalizing the technology, ensuring that the IT investments realize business value by not having redundant systems, siloed systems, or old systems, or high cost systems, And then the last activity, they also define and govern standards, defining and governing standards. So managing the official approved list of technologies, okay, that's their another activity. They are also involved in managing the list of approved technologies. These are our standards artifacts, okay? These are our standard artifacts, and this prevents project teams from constantly introducing new unsupported tools. Okay. Yeah, so we can move to chapter 7. The initiative as a core focus. Why IT initiatives so central to a functioning EA practice? It's because they are tangible points of discussion where the money is spent and where the rules are tested. So this question really says an IT initiative is described as the central focus of functioning EA practice. Explain the 3 key properties of an IT initiative and elaborate how these properties enable them to serve as tangible points of discussion. So they are effective checkpoints because they have these 3 key properties. Defined scope, a clear boundary and objective. e.g. when you're maybe launching a new e-commerce site, okay, clear start and end. They are temporary, time-bound efforts with specific budget, and then resource commitment. They demand a large investment of money and time and people. So because they are concrete and tied to budget, architects use the initiative proposal, or rather the outline artifact, to apply governance and measure progress. So they check if the plan follows the architectural rules, which are standards, and ensure the project moves the organization towards the desired vision. Okay, so really when this question comes up, and where an IT initiative is described as the central focus of functioning practice, what are the key properties of an IT initiative, and elaborate on how these properties enable them to serve as tangible points of discussion. One is the key properties: defined scope, clear start and end dates, resource commitment. They require large investments of money and time, like we've said. And then another tangible point of discussion is that they require a large, because of initiatives, they are concrete, measurable, and tight budget. They are natural checkpoints for EA architects use the initiative proposal. Okay. 7.2, I think maybe we can end here for now, and then I will come back in part 2 of continuation of this video to continue with question 7.2, where we'll look at the 5 types of initiatives. So basically, we've covered the initiative as the core focus within an EA practice, and then we've also discussed technology optimization activities. What else? We've also discussed the continuous cycle of feedback, and also the process-oriented view and strategic planning. I'll take a break just to mute all these background noise that are coming through for now. Then I'll come back in part 2 of the continuation of this same video. So we'll continue from 7.2 in the next part of the video. So bear with me with all this background noise, and but I hope that we are moving on the same pace. Thank you.